Hi everyone, it's me, it's Rena. I'm the slow knitter. I'm wearing my comfort fade cardi. It's finally done. I'm so happy. This is episode 34 and it's all about gift knitting. But I had to show you this one thing that I have completed, which is my comfort fade cardi. It's done with Barnard knits. It has, I want to say there was 4 different colors that had to be faded. You started up here, and then you went down from there. Anyway, I posted a photo, a couple photos before I blocked it. I posted it on my my mannequin, my Ethel, and then after I blocked it, I worked today to show my Wednesday knitting group, and Sarah English Perry, my good friend, great knitwear designer, took some photos. I am thrilled with this. I wasn't, as my friend Teresa, who knit it with me, she knit her own, and it's gorgeous, gorgeous as well. And she's right at the end. I think she's binding off. I wasn't enjoying it while I was knitting because it wasn't that big a contrast. Like hers is very distinct, but now that I have it, I absolutely love it. And to me, it's all about the shawl collar. The shawl collar makes it. For me, it does. So there's some photos that I've posted, and if anybody has any questions about the process, please feel free to put a note below, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I have never really faded like this before, so this was sort of I did before, but this is a different kind of fade. I really enjoyed it. I really, really did. Anyway, so I have it on. It's a little warm outside, so I'm going to take it off and put my other shirt on, but maybe I won't take it off for a while. I really love it. I love it. And the back is beautiful. And the shawl collar, it's like knitting a whole separate sweater because it's 300 stitches around. There's short rows involved, there's fading involved. I mean, it's, for those of you that made it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'll have to say at the end of the day, I did it with Teresa. She inspired me to do it. A couple of the friends that we've met down at the Craftivist, which is a local yarn store here, they were doing it. That inspired us as well. I had my Wednesday knitting group, and they were there to support me and answer questions that I had. They helped me figure out how to pick up the stitches. I mean, so this, for me, needed a lot of support because I'm sort of a newbie sweater knitter. But now that I have that support, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with it. And it's a reverse stockinette sweater, like the purl side faces out. I much prefer the knit side facing out. So that's how I'm wearing it, is knit side facing out. One thing I didn't do, I did not fade the cuffs. In the pattern, the cuffs are faded, but I was not doing a great job of fading the cuffs, so I thought, you know what, who cares? It's my sweater. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna fade it. And I didn't, and I just did the cuff with the last color. And because, the knit side is facing out, the cuff is more distinctive to see, and I kind of like that. I really like that. So anyway, yeah, I was just very excited. I jumped right into episode 34, which is all about gift knitting. Hey, this episode is called gift knitting because this selfish knit is the last knit I'm going to do for myself for a while. Most of what I'm going to do now is gift knitting because first of all, slow. It takes me a long time, and I have a lot of people to gift knit for. So I am all about gift knitting. This episode is all about gift knitting. Some ideas that I'm working on, and then some ideas for you to potentially give to other knitters or make for other knitters. So welcome to the gift knitting. I know it's only September 25th. It doesn't matter because Christmas is going to be here before we know it. I have to take this off. It's getting a little warm. So I will be right back, and I will be in a different outfit. Well, a different shirt. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to start again. I'm going to start again because I was just so excited about the Comfort Fade cardi. I just jumped right into that. Hello, I'm Rena. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm known as the Slow Knitter. You can find me here on YouTube as the Slow Knitter, on Instagram as the Slow Knitter, and on Ravelry, I am the Slow Knitter ATL Atlanta. Slow Knitter Atlanta. ATL. I'll edit. Anyway, so that's where you can find me. I would like to welcome back all of my subscribers. Thank you for continuing to tune in. It means a lot to me. And if you're new to this podcast, welcome. Hope you enjoy it. And if you do, hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to get notified, hit the bell right next to it. I was just at the Apple store. I was telling my sales rep about it. He sold me a new phone. I have a new phone. And he said, oh, I'll subscribe. I said, no, Ryan, it's knitting. You're not going to, he said, no, I want to add to you. I was like, okay, I'll occasionally tune in, he said. Okay, welcome, Ryan. Anyway, so welcome to everyone. Okay, I'm going to jump right into this because this episode is about gift knitting. I'm already like in my head thinking about what I'm making for people. So, it started out, my friend Sarah English Perry, who's a designer, and part of my Wednesday knitting crew, designed this hat for preemies, newborns, toddlers, and it's called the Tot Knot Hat. And I will put a link below to the pattern. I don't have a color printer, so you'll have to bear with me, but this is the pattern. It's adorbs. Can't stand it. I just love it. And I was like, well, that's nice, but I don't really have babies in my life. So oh yes, I do. My second cousin, my cousin's daughter, just had a baby boy, Sawyer Kevin Johnson, and so I am wrapping up my Sawyer Kevin Johnson. I've got one more I-cord thing to do here. I'm gonna make a little tot knot, and I've made it out of O-Loops, Lydia from O-Loops, who has a fantastic colorway. This green, it's fingering, it's sock weight, and I'm holding two strings, two yarns together, one from the outside and one from the inside. Let me try and get you to focus, Miss Camera. Anyway, I love it. So I've got one more thing, and then this crosses, and you tack it down, and there's a little knot. It's so adorable. Anyway, I was looking, and I had the skein of yarn from Lydia of O-Loops, and I love it. And I thought, you know what? I should do something. Maybe that would be great. And it is, here's Lydia's label, O-Loops, and this is the Darling Danny Boy colorway, and which is very appropriate since little Sawyer is probably mostly Irish Catholic. So I love it. I love the pattern. It's so intuitive and easy. And so of course Sawyer has a big sister, Sienna, and I'm gonna make her a version of this hat because the baby brother has it. You know the big sister has to have one, so I'm going to make her a version of the hat, which is going to be with some tassels, because there's a tassel version of this pattern. So that's gift giving very soon, since Sawyer's already a month old. I should get busy. Anyway, then my sister-in-law, who's a little older, requested a hat. I said, what would you like? And she said, I would love a hat. And I said, not a floppy hat. I said, okay, I'll make you a hat. So I am making her this, the pattern is called, and I will pull it up for you and show it to you. The pattern is called A Little Nonsense, Little or No Nonsense. It's sort of faux cable-y, and I saw it Amy Florence from Stranded Knitting podcast had it on her podcast a few episodes ago, and I thought, oh my God, that's perfect. I love it because it's sort of not really a complicated hat. Here, I'm going to show it to you on my iPad. Isn't it great? So basically, you know, the knit two togethers and the SSKs and pearls, you know, just form this sort of crisscross kind of thing. So I'm loving the way it comes out. I showed it to my niece who was visiting last week. She loved it, so I'm going to make her one. It's a great pattern. It's not boring. So I'm going to make another one. But this one is 2 strands of Madeline Tosh in the chicory. It's sock yarn in the chicory colorway. And it's beautiful. Look at this. It's just beautiful. And so, and I'm holding 2 strands together. So, again, one from the inside and one from the outside. Again, see how your knitting friends inspire you, because I was watching Sarah English do this for one of these baby hats, and I thought, huh, I have so much sock yarn. I could probably use it for that. And sure enough, why not? It sort of forms a DK Sport kind of weight, which was perfect. So that's my sister-in-law's hat. So there's hat knitting there. My friend Beverly, very good friend of mine, probably my oldest friend in Atlanta since we've been here. And we've been in Atlanta, this year will be, wow, 38 years or something like that. And I am making her, I didn't think she really wanted anything. I don't know, she didn't strike me as somebody that wanted any knitting goodies. Wrong. So I said, Beverly, would you like me to make you something? And she said, oh, I would love a shawl. Ding, ding, ding. And, you know, I love to knit shawls. So this is the Ashburn shawl by Melanie Berg. And I'm making Beverly this shawl, gift knitting. And it is done in 3 colors. So let me show you where I am. I'm really just in the first section of it. And it's, I mean, this yarn is beautiful. I'll show you what it is in a second. And then you start adding in, oops, different colors. So this first yarn is Malabrigo, the second one is Dream in Color, Smushy, and the third one is going to be Madeline Tosh. But this first one is, Malabrigo Machita, which is, I think, their fingering weight in the Marte colorway. Okay, gorge. It's really, and of course, if anybody who's worked with Malabrigo knows, it is really stunning to knit with. I mean, it has amazing hand feel. This is the second color, and there'll be a whole section with just this color, which is the Dream in Color Smushy Cashmere blend. Oh, and it is in the Retriever colorway. So you can see it sort of looks like a golden retriever. Yeah. Although they don't have this listed on Ravelry. You know, when you pick your yarns, they don't have this color listed. But I am, so that, and then the final color, I got this in a fiber share package, and it was not labeled. So I thought it was this. My friend told me that she thinks probably it's Tosh Merino Light, and I think she's right. So I brought it up. I didn't bring it up there, but I went to Eat Sleep Knit with my Wednesday group, which is a huge yarn store here in town. And, well, not in town, it's in the suburbs. And there it was, and it's the Whiskey Barrel colorway, which is just gorgeous. So the 3 yarns that I'm using, let's try not to make this topple, for this Ashburn shawl, I think it's going to be gorgeous. And I said to Beverly, what kind of colors do you like? And she said, I love jewel tones. And I thought, this is perfect. And if you've knitted, this will be my 4th or 5th Melanie Berg shawl. I love Melanie Berg. Anything Melanie Berg does is pretty fabulous to me. But, and I think you end up somewhere around 350 stitches at the end of the day, which isn't terrible. You know, when you get to the 400 and 500s is when I start like, yow, ow, it hurts my tendonitis. But this won't, because it's not going to be that huge, which would be great because she can wrap it around her neck or do whatever she likes with it. So I'm really happy with that. Gift knitting, not selfish knitting. So I'm really thrilled with that. And I have a lot of other whips, which I won't go into because this episode is really about gift knitting and what can we give our friends and family and those who want to knit for, those who are knit worthy. If you're not knit worthy, you're probably not going to get anything. Or if you get something and you don't wear it and I don't see you wear it, even a photograph if you're out of town, you're off the knitting list. No more. But anyway, I also wanted to share with you, let's see. Did I show you my mother's wrap? I think I did. But to refresh you, and the reason why I'm showing you this is because I have a related gift that you can do. So my mother or someone made this very long shawl, wrap. We think it's my mother. It was probably my mother or somebody, one of her sisters. Probably my mother, because she was a prolific knitter, a needle worker. And when my sister was moving and emptying out her basement, we found this, and I went ahead and grabbed it. And it's been sitting on my chair in my office, and I keep looking at it, and realized that it probably has never been blocked because it has that very acrylic-y feel. It was probably done in acrylic yarn because when she did it, it was probably the 60s or 70s, and we didn't have a lot of money, and she probably went to a, I don't know, some store and bought some yarn and made it. So I've been looking at it and thought, you know what is that pattern? What is that pattern? So I put it out to my Knit Stars crew, and I'll talk about my Knit Stars group on Facebook. I'll talk about my Knit Stars group in a minute. And they said they think that's the shell lace stitch. So I thought, okay, and they said, well, there's a book, a very famous book that's out, and it has all these stitch patterns in it, and you can probably find it there. And the book is this, is the book. It is called A Treasury of Knitting Patterns. It's by Barbara G. Walker, who has a lot of knitting books, and they were probably published, I want to say she published this book in the 60s. I'm looking at the table of contents. But it is just rich with knitting patterns. So the original publication was 1968. And there have been updates to the book and all that. But it is a wonderful book for emerging designers, somebody that wants to dabble in different kind of pattern types and stitch types, and it's just rich with it. And it turns out that my mother's shawl is the shell lace pattern, this one right here. So I thought, oh, I'll redo it in some kind of nice yarn. I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a more updated version of it with some really lovely yarn. So we'll have my mother's original, and then we'll have my new one. And that is, I am going to be making, in fact, I've started on it. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. There it is. It's called the Driftwood shawl. And Oop. Wait a minute. Just a minute. Hold the phone. Oops. Okay, that's not right. So sorry. I'll find it in a second. Driftwood shawl. There it is. And that's going to be sort of a modern version of what my mother made all those years ago. It's by Veera Valimaki. We know Veera. And so Driftwood shawl, I thought that's really nice. That would be nice. And then my friend Karen, who is an indie dyer, local indie dyer to Atlanta, her yarn brand is I Knit 2 Purl 2. So she actually had, and this shawl is sport weight, which is one of my favorite weights to knit with. She has a sport weight yarn called Driftwood. So I bought a couple of skeins of that from her so I could make that. And I'll post some pictures on that. I don't have it handy. I don't want to keep jumping up. Anyway, so yay! So that, again, is a gift from my sister because it's sort of an ode to our mom. So again, gift knitting. Gift knitting. Yeah. If you can get this book, and I got it on Amazon, and I'll put a link to everything I show you, the patterns, the yarns, and what books I'm showing you, will all be down below the bar below, and it will all be linked, so you can get them. In that same vein, let's keep on the book vein. A more modern version of Barbara Walker's book is, and I think I've showed this to you before. This is Up, Down, All Around Stitch Dictionary, and there's 150 stitch patterns in here. They're fabulous stitch patterns. They're in the round or they're straight. There's also some patterns in here. It's an excellent book. There's cable stitch. Yes, an excellent book. And my friend Martha down at the beach told me about this book, and I have to tell you, I refer to it periodically. It's got edging. It's got all kinds of great things. So for the knitter who wants to maybe expand it to design or wants to understand a pattern stitch a little bit better, this is a great, it's spiral bound. There's some patterns in the back. So look for Up, Down, All Around Stitch Dictionary. So those two, so you have sort of an older version, a more classic version, oops, and then you have this. So these are, oopsie, these are good books to have around, you know, if you're a designer or if you're a knitter who wants to understand a little bit more about knitting patterns. Those are really great, easy to understand books. I dropped the big one. You know, if there isn't a podcast and I drop something, something's wrong with the podcast. That's me. So let's stay on the theme of books. One of the first groups of books I bought when I learned to re-knit, which was about 8 years ago, I was down in Manhattan and I was visiting Pearl Soho, and I just love that store. It's very, very, it's tiny, but it's really full of great things. I remember walking in there and they sell a lot of Manos, and I didn't understand yarn weights or fiber types or anything, but I liked this one colored Manos, so I bought it. And I was telling the young man who was waiting on me that I was just learning to knit again and all that, and he goes, well, you must have this, which is an Elizabeth Zimmerman book. I did not know who Elizabeth Zimmerman was at the time. And I was reading it, and I was, you know, it's all black and white, and all these images that are sort of pencil line drawings. I thought, okay. And then after a little study, I was like, holy crap, it's Elizabeth Zimmerman. But it was a great, I read it on the plane coming home, and I thought, oh, I guess that's good. So then I bought some more. But I want to tell you, when you're down Pearl Soho, very inspiring, very, very trendy kind of knits. It's not a stuffy knit LYS. It's really a local yarn store. It's really a, it fits in down in Soho. It's perfectly named. Now, Joelle Hoverson, who is the owner, has written some books. So I got some books, and these are great gift ideas. I mean, they're timeless, but and especially for the holidays. Okay, so this is holiday. This is called Last Minute Gifts, and it's last minute knitted gifts, and it is full of fabulous patterns, and also lessons like what does gauge mean, what do you have. It's really great. I think I can do a lot of it now. At the time I was like, I don't know if I could do any of these, but it's really inspirational. So, and again, I'll put the link below, but I'll hold up some of the things they have in here. You know, leggings and a great scarf. I think I made that scarf. Just, you know, and these don't take a lot of yarn. There are some sweaters in here, but, you know, look at this bunny. Like, if you want to do that, it's so fun. So this is a great book to have. If you're looking for inspiration, again, I'll put the link down below. Then she came out with more last minute knitted gifts. Look at this hat on the cover. Is that adorable? I cannot stand it. So on the back, you can see the range of knitted gift ideas that are, the patterns are in this book. So I really strongly recommend, if you're looking for that kind of thing for a fellow knitter, or you want to expand a little bit, check this out. Now, you know that everyone's got books. There's all kinds of books, but when you're talking about holiday knitting, it's sort of great to have that. Also, you know, remember I said this one, I also went ahead, once I knew who Elizabeth Zimmerman was to get her Knitter's Almanac. A fabulous, fabulous book. I really strongly recommend it for you or for a knitter on your list. Again, these will all be put below so you can see. I think there's actually better photos in this one. So, mystery blanket weaving, and again, she was a little snarky, which I really liked about her. She's very opinionated, but it's inspiring, and a lot of lessons in here. So Christmas socks, and every month there's a pattern for every month. So this is a really great inspiration for your knitter friends or for yourself. So anyway, I'm gonna pick up some more and I will be right back. Okay, here I am again because I was picking out more books for you to look at. Of course, you have your famous designers, your designers who are out there who are publishing books on their designs and their ideas, and many of us are familiar with Mr. West. I think he has other books out, but this one, I particularly love this one. I will probably get his other books. I've knitted one item out of this one, which was the dotted raise shawl. I love it. I'm looking for the other yarn that I buy inspire me. Hey, this could be a great dotted raise. I really, really, really enjoyed knitting it. So I probably do another one with different yarn, and at some point, but not yet. But I'm telling you, if you need inspiration, get a Stephen West book. I know he's got some more books out that he's published, but this one was, I think, from 2 years ago or something. Bristol Ivy put out a book. Everyone has a book. But I picked up Bristol Ivy's book recently. And for those of you who want to buy me something, somebody buy me the Melanie Berg Shawls book. I'm going to buy it if nobody buys it. But Bristol Ivy is so talented. Her stuff, ooh, I'm not even talking about it. Her stuff is fabulous. It's just unbelievably great. So Bristol Ivy's book, and usually there's a Ravelry code in each book that allows you to download some of the patterns on your Ravelry page once you buy the book, because the books are not cheap, but they're, at least you'll get some patterns for Ravelry. But there's some great things in this book. I need to go back and look at some ideas in this book for my knitted gifts. So that's another really great one I'm dropping. Okay, now for storytelling, we have some fabulous storytellers in our community. Really incredible storytellers. And of course, and this is just a couple of them because I know Clara has other ones, any Clara Parks book is really a wonderful find. I have 3 of them. These are 2. She's a great storyteller. She talks about where the fiber comes from, what different knitters and different designers do about their stash. A Stash of One's Own is a fabulous book. I've actually been listening to it on Audible, and it's really wonderful. She has essays from Susan B. Anderson and Kay Gardner and Debbie Stoller, Meg Swanson. I mean, all these knitters that we are very familiar with talk about what they do with their stash and how they don't feel guilty about their stash. Or it's really a wonderful way to get stories. So any kind of Clara Parks book, and I'll connect these down. I'll connect you to the Amazon page, which has a lot of her books, but these are a couple of mine. Another great anthology of short stories about knitting is written by Ann Hood. And the first one was a gift to me, and I treasure it. Knitting Yarns. And it's stories from different writers, actually, about and these are knitters, writers who are knitters, and different stories about how they learn to knit, how knitting has helped them through some difficult times, the joy they get out of knitting, what they've knitted. So you have just a range of writers like Anita Shreve and Jane Smiley and just Elizabeth Berg. I mean, just a ton of authors who are actually knitters or crocheters. In here are also some patterns and some recipes. So it's just a really wonderful, cozy read to have by your bed. So I strongly recommend Ann Hood's Knitting Yarns, followed by Ann Hood's Knitting Pearls. Same kind of philosophy, using writers and talking about knitting. And these are really just essays or short stories, and they're just really special books. So there's another thing. So I will link all this down below. Again, these are knitting ideas for your knitting friends. And lastly, and I have like books of it, but I just selected a bookshelves full of these books. But I just selected a few that were my favorite to share with you for knitting gift ideas. But this is another one, Knitting Comfortably by Carson Demers, who is a physical therapist and a knitter. And he gives a lot of suggestions, and these books are full of great diagrams of knitting issues that we all have. I was telling my knitting group today's Wednesday, by the way, that I was having a hard time because I was knitting so intensely for a few days that my hands are killing me. So Carson has exercises about how to sit, how to vary your knitting, exercises to do in between. He's also going to be lecturing on Knit Stars 3, which is coming up in the next few weeks. So I'm really excited about. He's been at a couple of events that I haven't really had the privilege of going to yet, but I think he could really help. I paid for that book before. It's a big book. It's very expensive, but it's like a coffee table book. It's big. It has diagrams. It's excellent book. I think Ann Budd edited it or had a contribution to it in some way. So it's a pretty serious book. So those are some book ideas. Again, I'll connect all of this down in the box below, so you can really have fun with what you're going to buy your knitting friends or for you. And then also some of these knitting ideas that I've shared with you. This next part, I'm going to continue on the Knit Stars theme. Knit Stars 3 is coming out. I have subscribed to all 3. When I first subscribed to Knit Stars 1, I was sort of a newbie knitter, newbie re-knitter, and I didn't know if I would like it or, well, I love Knit Stars 1. I love Knit Stars 2, and Knit Stars 3 is all about color work, and it's about, and it's, what's it? Northern Stars Rising is the name of it. And they're concentrating a lot on Scandinavian kind of knitting, color work. In fact, I think they went out and they visited with Arnie and Carlos, who are famous Norwegian knitters. They also, if you sign up with Knit Stars, they also offer you yarn that is exclusive to the Knit Stars participants, and then you have a choice of buying yarn. So a while ago, so I think the first release of the yarn that they were going to send was done in June, maybe. So I have so much yarn that I didn't want to buy everything, but I did want to buy yarn for knitting mittens, which is more homespun, thicker weight. So I went ahead and ordered yarn from them to make color work hats and mittens, maybe. I may venture into that, but I went ahead and ordered these two, and they're labeled, this is Norwegian yarn, and they're labeled with Arnie and Carlos's name. So I figured mittens or gloves or hats with these two colors would be really, really pretty. It's sort of a light blue and a navy blue. So I may try it. I've interviewed Ellie from Skein-Dur, and you can find that in my listings, and she's very big on making sure that you don't, that you might want to think about more sturdier yarns, 100% wool, not superwash, to make colorwork mittens or hats. That's sort of the old-fashioned way that the Scandinavians used to do it. And so I'm excited about Knit Stars. I'm so excited. But it's going to be on it. There's a lot of big names on this one. So I'm very, very excited. So that's coming up, and that's my that's the yarn I ordered for Knit Stars. Now, I understand Rhinebeck is coming up, right? In a month. We got Rhinebeck. I was going to go, but we had a little change in plans and I couldn't go. However, one of my favorite yarn dyers, sock blank dyers, Gail Evans from Gail's Arts. She's actually local to the Atlanta area, but she's well known around the world, and she always displays at Rhinebeck. And she offered her Rhinebeck sock blank prior to going to Rhinebeck for those of us who are not going to Rhinebeck. So, of course, I had to order one. And this is Gail's Arts Rhinebeck sock blank. It's very fall colors. Do I have it upside down? I want everything upside down. No? No. Yes. So it's NY, New York, Sheep and Wool, 2018. And this is Gail's Arts, 2018 Rhinebeck sock blank. So I was very thrilled to get it. I ordered it right away, and this is my Rhinebeck little thing. So again, I sort of am collecting sock blanks. I've knit on one of them, but I haven't really knit on any of them very much. I'm going to start to though, but this one, I don't know if I'll ever knit this, but it's really beautiful, and the colors are very fall-like, and it's going to be fun. So also, I'm sure you know, well, many of you know, that Laura of Jinx Yarn, very, very well-known dyer, well-known also, best known. She had the Dyer's Notebook podcast for years. A lot of dyers really owe Laura a lot for helping them learn how to dye or understand the process. She's very, very talented. She's out of Texas. Well, she had to give up dyeing for health reasons recently. So she had a sale. She was getting rid of her inventory. I have knit with Laura's yarn before, loved it, had a good experience with it. So I thought, you know, I'd just buy a last skein of Jinx yarn. And this is sort of Christmassy colorway, and it just makes me happy. It's got a little sparkle in it, and it's a great colorway for a Christmas socks or a scarf or something that would be fun to wear, or for me just to hold on to forever. That's her label. I think she's closed down her Etsy shop and web store, so it's too bad, but I was happy that I got a skein. I wanted to get it, and I thought this would be a great yarn for gift for socks. So she does it a very interesting technique. I understand doing yarns of stripe as a dyer is very difficult, and she's really, really exceptional at it. So I'm sorry that you're not dyeing anymore, Laura, but I was happy to get a skein of her yarn. Now, recently, my knitting group and I went up to Eat Sleep Knit, which is about 30 miles, 35 miles from where we all are. So we took a little road trip out there. And they have a really amazing selection of yarns. So, of course, everything I bought with a gift in mind. I don't typically have worsted yarn because big needles, I find I hold them in a strange way, and it really cramps my hand if I use like a size 10 or up. Even 9s are not great, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to bite the bullet and make a few hats with some of them. So I got a range of Malabrigo. By the way, this is really funny, I keep picking the same colorway in their different yarn weights. I'm like, oh, that's pretty. Take it. I'm like, oh, that's Plomo again. I keep making Plomo, but it's a great gray. It's very tonal, and this is worsted weight. So, is it worsted? No, I'm sorry. It's Arroyo, and I happen to love knitting with Arroyo, which is sort of like a heavy sport. So this will be a great hat and maybe mitts. I have some patterns picked out already. This is Malintosh Sport, and I just fell in love with this colorway. Yes, it's sport, and it is called Fate. Look at this. It's so beautiful. Again, great hat, great mitts. I have other colors that will go with it really well. Now that I'm learning how to hold fingering double, I pull from the end, pull from the middle, I'm really enjoying it. And I have a lot of yarn I could use for that. I also I did buy a worsted, did I? Yes. This is Malabrigo. It's called Paris Nights. It's sort of a deep, rich navy blue, and it is a worsted. So this will definitely be hats or mitt or something for the many people that I'm knitting for. Some of them are guys, so this would be a great color for a man's hat, at least the guys that I know. And I have no control. Okay, I confess, my control is a little not great. So on the counter, okay, this is why they put this stuff out, for people like me. On the counter is this gorgeous skein of Twist. No, it's Tosh Merino Light. Look at the skein. There's so many things I can do with this. And it will go with any of these that I just bought. See? Could be a shawl. I have no idea, I just loved it. One of the things that I wanted to get while I was there was another skein of Spun Right Round. I'm a big Spun Right Round fan. I'll get out of the way. That's her label. This is just in her sock weight, and it's called Dusty Rose. And I have a lot of this color, a lot to complement this color, and it's her sport sock weight, which is a blend of merino, nylon, and yeah, just merino nylon, 100 grams, 400 yards. It's pretty gorgeous. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that one. They have a very, very nice display of Spun Right Round, which is one of my favorites. My friend Karen from I Knit 2 Purl 2, she was in Paris sometime earlier this summer, and she sent Laura and I, our friend Laura, and a note on Instagram saying, hey, I'm in Paris, I'm going to stop by La Bien-Aimée. Do you want anything? And I said, yes, of course I do. And this is I've seen this by a lot of people that have this. It's called Yellow Brick Road. Some people have it with mohair. I know mohair's thing, but I'm not a mohair person. I know held together it's supposed to be really, I'm just not a mohair person. Maybe it would come one. I am an alpaca person, but I'm not a mohair person. Anyway, Yellow Brick Road is just spectacular. And I will find something. And, you know, I might hold this double. It's a sock weight. It's BFL sock weight. I may hold this double to make something really wonderful. So I'm so glad Karen went there, and I now have a skein of that. One last thing that I bought that I wanted to share because it's from one of my favorite project bag makers, Nancy from, I dropped it. See, another thing I dropped. Wait a minute, I'm right back. I have to go deeper. Okay, back. She really makes very adorable, the name of her, I have a couple of her bags, but the name of her company is Laughing Stitches. And she showed this Notions bag on Instagram, and I thought, yeah, that's me. Got to have it. Now, I may keep it. I may give it as a gift. I don't know. Since I'm in gift mode, my whole head's in gift mode, I may have to give this away as a gift. But it's the cutest Notion bag, and if I can open it, even better. Here you go. Okay. Now, I'm not able to open it because I'm not talented. Anyway, I've been collecting these little gifts to give my knitting friends for the holidays. Okay, open it. For the holidays. So I thought this might be a gift, or I might give it. But it's the cutest little Notions bag, and I just love her work. You know, and it's got a pattern inside. It's a great Notions bag. I have a Notions bag. I might want to switch it out for this Notion bag. I don't know. Or I might give it as a gift. It's cute. It's got a little stitch marker. It's got a little measuring tape holder. Just, you know, there are people that are very talented with this kind of thing. Nancy is one of them. So, Laughing Stitches, as soon as I saw it, I said, oh yes, I have to have that. Whew. I have a lot more to show, but I will save that for other podcasts. And I will keep you up to date on my knitting. I'm going to pick some patterns, and I hope that all of these books inspire you to pick some patterns from them. I also wanted to tell you about, every year, Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. I'm looking at my notes to make sure that I've covered everything. Oh yeah, I want to tell you about that. Every year, Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade has what she calls Knit Vent. And Knit Vent is sort of a calendar of how you can keep track of your knitting, your gift-giving projects. And she has, I don't know, 4 or 5 different patterns in there, especially for gift knitting. I've knit, last year she had, one of her patterns was the Tchaikovsky hat. It's fabulous, easy, quick knit, but really has a Helen Stewart feel to it if you know her, if you know about her patterns. So look that up, and I'll put a link below, Tchaikovsky hat. She had Tchaikovsky hat. The Knit Vent before that, she's had a beautiful cable hat, matching cable mitts. So these are great ideas from Helen Stewart, and it's not very expensive to be part of her Knit Vent and get 4 or 5 patterns of, maybe more, of some great knitted gifts that you can make for your friends and family. So look out for Knit Vent 2018, which should be coming out maybe November or late October or mid-October. I was listening to her audio podcast the other day, and she's preparing for it now. She's getting it ready. So I'm very excited about that. Also, Advent calendars are every dyer is coming out with advent calendars. Last year, on the recommendation of a friend from my International Virtual Knit Night, I went ahead and ordered Nora George her advent calendar, and I just got a message the other day that it's coming. I'm very excited. Apparently you get a little mini skein and there's a pattern, and you knit that until you get the next month's mini skein. You knit that next day, and you knit that. I'm just curious about how it works. But almost every dyer that I've seen on Instagram is coming up with their own little advent calendar. That's also a great gift idea. That'll be a little late, or a little early, but it's really a fun kind of effort. I know Gail's Arts, she makes the sock blanks I showed. She's doing mini sock blanks as part of her advent calendar. So look also for that, and that's also a great gift to give to a knitter who enjoys that kind of thing. Or yourself, or gift it to yourself. I'm all about that. Let's see, I want to tell you something else. Project bags. Everyone knows project bags are fantastic gifts. I will tell you that I am a huge Craftsy fan, which is now called Blueprint. And Craftsy has some great classes that you can also gift either to yourself or to other knitters. I came across a class, how to knit your style better or something. What was that? Oh, alternative knitting. It was a fabulous video. It's broken into series, whether you're an English knitter or a picker, continental knitter, and just how you can do it better and improve your skills. And I really was fascinated by that class. And I'm a continental knitter, so we'll go from there. I don't have much chatter except that we're going to the beach tomorrow. Yay! For the month of October, it's beautiful down there, so you'll hear from me from there with maybe some more knitting ideas. I'm going to stop by my favorite Destin yarn shop and pick up some yarn to do some more knitting. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you got some ideas. If you've got any knitting ideas, please share them with me, and I'll share them with people I know as well. But from now on to the end of the year, it's all about everyone's getting a gift of some kind. Socks, hats, cowls, gloves, anything like that. They're just fun to do and very, very satisfying for the knitter. And then, you know, in between all that is knit stores, which I'm really looking forward to, knit stores. That's it, gang. So I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'll probably podcast from down the beach, let you know what's going on, let you know how I'm doing with all these little gift knitting stuff that I'm doing. And you know that I'm going to find other yarn and gift knitting ideas when I'm down there. The knitting group down at the Destin Yarn Shop is a great group of women. They have great ideas. I'm going to bring a couple of my things and see if they'll pick it up, particularly this little baby tot knot hat, you know, because they do a lot of baby knits down there too. So cute. I think that's my favorite so far because it went so fast. Anyway, any other suggestions? Just let me know what you think about gift knitting ideas, books, classes, yarn, patterns, anything you can think of. Inspire me, I'll inspire others. I hope I've inspired you today. So, see ya. I'll see you in a few weeks from the beach. Happy knitting, everyone. Gift knitting, yay.